what's going on? It's Adam here. If you're brand new to my channel, I just want to say welcome. And if you don't know who I am, I'm a 7-figure entrepreneur and CEO and founder of the Smart Business Mastermind. And today we're going to talk about, can you not buy a home and still be financially smart? Well, everybody's got an opinion on buying a house. Your realtor, your parents, your grandparents will tell you it's the smartest investment you'll ever make. And for their generation, that was true. But here's the thing no one's really talking about. What if God's plan for your life takes you somewhere you can't afford to own right now, but you can rent, grow, and invest your way to it later? Because location can position you for your calling. And sometimes that means renting strategically as the most faith-aligned thing that you can do in the moment. Let's look at the facts. The average first-time home buyer today is 38 years old. But in 1991, they were only 28. That's a full decade older. In 1985, the median home price was around 3.5, the average household income, where today it's 5.5 times. That means that buying a home takes way more of your income today and leaves a lot less margin for savings, investing, and growth. So the US government, they consider housing affordable when 30% of your income is used to pay for housing. But first-time home buyers are spending 40 to 5% of their take-home pay on housing. That's not freedom. That is financial pressure disguised as the American dream. And for a lot of new home buyers, it's actually becoming the American nightmare because they're spending so much on their mortgage to try and get into a home, to become a homeowner. They have very little left to have quality of life. They have very little left to invest and to grow. They don't have leftovers for investment opportunities. And if anything goes wrong, a loss of job or something happens, it can be completely devastating. That's why you're seeing stories of people that are just literally giving their entire paychecks to their mortgage, and the quality of their life has just gone so down and their stress has gone way up. So am I saying that it's not good to own? No, I'm going to get there. But let's just zoom out for a second. If God is calling you to a place, let's say Los Angeles, Dallas, New York, and your assignment or your career or your ministry requires you to be there, don't let home prices make you feel disqualified. You're not throwing away money by renting. You're staying positioned for purpose. And if buying a home in that area means locking up every dollar you have and losing your ability to invest, you're burying your talent instead of multiplying it. Do you remember the parable of the talents? The one who buried his didn't honor God. The one who multiplied it did. So sometimes renting and investing the difference is better stewardship than buying something you can't truly afford. So here's another thing people forget. Your support system. Maybe you could save $1,000 a month by moving to a cheaper town, but now you've lost grandma who used to help with the kids, and now you're paying more for daycare, and you're exhausted. When something goes wrong, you got no one to call. You didn't really save money. You just moved the expense somewhere else. And what about your emotional health? I've seen people move to a new state, buy their dream house, but then they don't have community. No friends to eat with, no church to grow in. It gets lonely fast. Because you can have the prettiest house and still feel empty inside when there's no one to share it with. And don't even get me started on health. I went to a small town in Tennessee once, and I kid you not, mac and cheese was listed on the vegetable menu. I couldn't find a single juice bar, no organic groceries, but there was a barbecue place on every corner. Now, I'm not saying this was a major city like Nashville. This was on the outskirts, of course. But it's easy to look on Zillow and find that house that looks like your dream home in the middle of nowhere, and then you can move there and go, oh my gosh, where is all of the health at? Especially if you come from a place that has access to health. Like I'm in Southern California, where there's like a juice store everywhere, there's like yoga places everywhere, it's easy to get access to health. Moving to another place is very attractive because it's like, wow, you can get a castle for what you can buy here. But then it's like you move there and it's like, where's access to the health? Where is the lifestyle at, right? So yeah, you got a home for cheap, but now your food and lifestyle and health takes a hit. Sometimes you're not saving, you're just sacrificing the wrong things. And so here's the real stewardship question. Do you have enough savings and cash cushion if something goes wrong? Are you buying in an emerging area with solid schools and equity potential, or are you in a market that's already overpriced? And that's what we're seeing right now, is we're seeing a lot of housing just completely overpriced, right? And people are just trying to level up and level up. And this is where it's becoming harder for the first-time home buyer, where a lot of times people are like, well, how do people afford this? Well, they're taking equity from a house that they used to live in and moving it into another house, or you have foreign investors coming in buying up properties, or you have very successful couples working together to combine incomes to buy in these areas with the median housing, rising to over $800,000 per home. So, for it to be in a decent area with decent schools and decent economic opportunities, right? So owning can be a blessing, but only if you're not a slave to the lender. So most believers who are financial experts can try and make you feel guilty for not owning your home because the Bible says the borrower is a slave to the lender. And that is true. But what do you call the person who gives you your mortgage? The lender. So if you don't pay, they take the home. That's not ownership, that's obligation. So if you're going to own, do it with freedom. Buy where you can still invest, still give, still sleep at night. And if you are able to own your home and have your other priorities met, then go for it. So here's how to rank the buying decision process. First, what is your God calling? Where is God calling you to build your purpose, to provide, and to grow? That is the first thing that is the most important, because I think a lot of believers sometimes can get themselves out of position with their purpose because they're trying to buy a nicer home and they want to be able to have more land and they want to be able to have more fun. So they go into these areas, but then they're out of position, right? Like, for example, if you know that you're called to be in theater or to perform, or you're called to the arts, it's like move to those areas where those opportunities are. If you're called to be in an area where there's networking opportunities, you got to be in those areas where you're going to be able to network and be able to mingle with other people. If you're called to build real estate, you want to be in an area where there's opportunities for that. So you got to be mindful of what God is calling you to do and being in position. The second decision I would look at is your financial margin. Do you have the reserves, not just the down payment? A lot of times people make decisions by going, what can I put down and what can I pay monthly? And they go, okay, well, I can afford the down payment and I'm sure we can stretch to make the monthly. And so it's like, no, what is your financial foundation? Like, do you really have margin left over so that you're not stressed every time the bills are due, right? What does your support system look like? That's the third thing. Where can your family thrive emotionally and practically? Do you have a circle of friends that's going to be there to support you? Do you have someone to help you with the kids? They say it takes a village to raise a family, right? So do you have support there? What does that look like? I think the fourth thing is market timing. Is there an area that is ideal for growth, or is the area already peaked? Because when you lock that money into a home, the only way to access it is either if you refinance, but then their monthly payment goes up, or you have to go buy something else or go into renting so that you can take the equity out of that house. So you want to be able to make sure that the area you're growing in has room for potential and has room for equity so that you can be able to take advantage of the ups. And then the fourth thing, if health is a priority for you, does the lifestyle for health, does the environment support your standard of wellness? That's a big thing. So if all those align, then yes, go for home ownership. I'm not saying, hey, it's bad to buy a home. I'm saying, hey, let's just make sure these priorities are considered, because everybody is always pressuring you to buy a home. But if we're not thinking first about, well, where does God want me? First. Second, what is my financial situation? Third, it's like, what does my community look like? Fourth, what does the health and wellness look like for the standard I want to live at? If it's not time, rent guilt-free and invest the difference. And that's what a lot of younger families are doing, especially today, is you can rent for, let's say, $2,000 or $3,000 a month, but then your mortgage is maybe $6,000 a month. So then you can take that $3,000 difference and then actually put it into the market where you could begin to invest it at a faster pace than real estate. And so if you can be able to do that predictably, and of course that requires mentorship, it requires intention, it requires some strategic moves. But if you don't know about that, I have a financial curriculum coming out. I can't wait to drop it. Stay tuned, so make sure to subscribe to the channel, because I'm going to be coming out with some big announcements soon on what you could do with that difference. So my message today is simple. Don't let culture pressure you into buying before you're ready. Honor God, honor your season, and make decisions in wisdom, not comparison. If you're renting while you build your foundation, you're not behind, you're positioned. And so if you want to be able to continue to gain access to insight and wisdom and God perspective as you grow and become the financially fittest you, make sure to subscribe, as I have some big announcements coming to help you reach greater financial increase. It's coming soon. So thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments, what do you think about this? Do you think it's right to buy right now, better to own? Do you think it's better to rent? What are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? Let me know in the comments below.